all of life is about making choices, right? And economics is in very small definition, is the study of how societies allocate scarce resources. So the two components are resources are scarce, and we have to make choices on how we allocate them. I find research most interesting if we can actually say something that might actually improve public policy. I'm an applied microeconomist, and so the first thing I need to do once I've got a question in mind is see if there's data out there that I can use to answer the question. And I've been very lucky. The field, both on welfare programs and on Social Security programs, there are excellent nationally representative data sets out there. For me, the issue of Social Security reform, it's important because it's important in the lives of almost all seniors in the United States, right? 90% plus, 95% plus of all jobs in the U.S. economy are in what we call covered employment. The employee and the employer pay Social Security taxes. In present value terms, there's about a $12 trillion hole in Social Security, which sounds like a big number, and it is a big number, but compared to the hole in Medicare, it's tiny. If we look at the impact of welfare receipt on the future development of children who grow up in welfare households, one of the things that I had noticed in reading a lot of that literature is that the comparison groups are often children in welfare households and then all children not in welfare households. Part of the problem with that comparison is that those two groups are going to be different on a whole host of characteristics other than just welfare receipt, right? And so one of the things that I wanted to do was look at that at a sort of a more finely tuned comparison. So the question in much of the literature is, what's the effect on children's long-term development of growing up in a welfare household? The question that I wanted to ask is, what is the effect on children of growing up in households that are eligible for welfare but never take up welfare? I think you have to work at more than one project at a time, and this is one of the things that I am hoping to improve in my own abilities by the year leave that I'm on now and working with the Urban Institute down in Washington, because I've got 2 or 3 projects of my own that are somewhere in the pipeline from raw ideas to almost finished products. And then there are at least 2 projects that I'm working on with the Urban Institute right now. And I think you have to, because research can't move all at the same pace, right? So it's very hard, I believe, at least in my own field, in economics, that it's very hard to start a project and move linearly through completion without any snags. And as an economist, as an academic economist, if you run into those snags and you have all of your research eggs in one basket, that's a pretty risky strategy, I think. I like the writing process, but I really like the sense that my writing is improving every time that I write something, because you don't make the same mistakes twice, and you start to learn where it's appropriate to use the economics rhetoric or the jargon and where it's less appropriate to use that. One of the things that I find very refreshing about our students is that they often come up with very interesting ideas on their own because they're not constrained by, well, that's all been done already, right? So, we're all thinking within this box of, we're operating within this very narrow confines of our field. So I think it's good to try and generate their own creative ideas, and any way we can encourage that is probably a good thing.